What's up, YouTube? What's up, Facebook? Thank you guys so much for being here. I have a really great show for you today with some videos. I got some, printouts of fact checks and mainstream articles and stuff that I want to go over. I think it's very interesting and pretty obvious what's going on. But the first story I want to talk about is fact checkers, including PolitiFact, have fact checked Justice Sonia Sotomayor over her apparent lie that she told about children's hospitalizations or critical condition, etc. We'll talk about that. I also got it printed out. I'll show you. Second thing I want to talk about is the CDC director. Our friend Rochelle Walensky said some pretty interesting stuff on television. In fact, she said what we've been saying since 2020. A lot of people, including billionaire Elon Musk, have been shouting this for years. And apparently now they're going to mainstream media saying very interesting stuff about how many people are dying from just COVID alone and how many people have multiple, including, I believe she talks about 4 different comorbidities. The percentages are shocking, and I'm glad that they're finally bringing that to mainstream media. The third thing I want to talk about is Reuters, because Reuters had an interesting fact check last year that apparently it looks like it's wrong. So, I don't know the fact checkers at Facebook and the YouTube people who lie about me. Maybe it's time to take another glance at Reuters because I believe that they're pushing misinformation under the guise of a fact check, and it might be time to update the website. So we'll do an interesting deep dive on the Reuters thing too. Thank you guys so much. Real quick, I just want to pin something to the top, and then we'll start once everyone gets in. We got 2,000 people on Facebook. We got 200 people on YouTube. All right, real quick, I'm going to just pin this to the top, and then we'll begin. It's my new song with Bryson Gray. It's called Controlled. Thank you to everybody buying it on Amazon and iTunes. It's number 2 on the iTunes hip hop charts. It's number 1 on the Amazon hip hop charts. And if we could hold that number all week, we could hit multiple Billboard charts. And I could get a Billboard plaque and put it up there where my stupid Mario basketball is and feel special about myself. But just kidding. Thank you guys. You're a part of it too. We couldn't do it without your support and your 99-cent purchases for the price of less than a coffee. You can help me hit the Billboard chart and send a message to the mainstream media, music artists who are just like a wing of what they're saying. Everybody just says the same thing. They have the same exact lyrics. They dress the same. We're trying to hop into the culture. But without further ado, let's talk about this. I printed it out for y'all on YouTube, and I'm going to show you on Facebook too. I'm so kind. I know it does it backwards on Facebook, so I did it. Y'all can see right here, false. I'll just read it aloud. PolitiFact said new Justice Sonia Sotomayor said during an oral arguments that we've never had before. Said in oral arguments today that we've had over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition and many on ventilators due to the coronavirus. That's false. So I guess she made some sort of statement trying to scare people about kids on ventilators. Even PolitiFact says it's false. You know something weird's going on when PolitiFact even fact checks you. That's how, if you're left wing and you're going in favor of big pharma and you're going in favor of the massive fear scare to make everybody afraid about the coronavirus, you got to really screw up in order to get fact checked, because you got people like Trump running around saying he saved the world from 100 billion people and he thinks it's the greatest accomplishment. You got a lot of people claiming a lot of stuff. You got the Biden administration constantly just pretty much telling people to, it's get your gravestone. If you don't get the shot, you might as well just it's not looking good for you. Where you could pretty much say anything as long as it's in favor of big pharma and the big government overreach. So it's interesting that they fact checked Sotomayor. She really screwed up, or maybe it seems like to me before I played this clip, they're starting to try to open the country back up. It's an election season. Democrats are down for the House and the Senate. They're getting obliterated in the polls, in the betting odds. Biden is an underdog to Joe Biden for 2024. So on President, House, and Senate, in all of the polls and betting odds, they're looking like they're going to lose everything. So it seems like they realize, this is my personal perspective, it's just my opinion, I think they realize that it's not popular to keep treating people like animals and zombies and serfs, and it's getting annoying to even people who got double and triple vaccinated. It's starting to get weird. So it just seems like they're trying to dial it back, and now they're pretty much just admitting everything we've been saying for 2 years and acting like it's this brand new emerging information. Let's listen without further ado to CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, our favorite totally sane person with body language and eye contact that looks totally sane. She's an expert, and I respect her because her eyes are totally not like AOC's and pigeons, because that would be rude to say, and I would never say it, so you shouldn't say it either because that's messed up. We love our experts. We love our patriots. So here's the CDC director. explaining what's going on.
Given that, is it time to start rethinking how we're living with this virus, that it's potentially here to stay?
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with. And yes, really encouraging news in the context of Omicron. This means not only...
Do you know how many of the...
All right, let's run that back. Sorry, I got to stand up because this is just my home studio. Let's run that back because it's like, what? Have we not been saying that for a year? How many people are dying with it? How many people are dying from it? Are these people like, is COVID taking them over the top and they had something else and COVID really hurt them? Or is it like 4 comorbidities? Like, I think that sounds pretty important to explain to people on the media. Like these experts, these media sources, they're supposed to provide you with hope. Hey, it's looking rough out there, but at the same time, exercise, diet, have a good day, enjoy yourself. Don't let stress destroy your body. You know, we're going to get through this. We're providing vaccines, therapeutics, whatever you got to say. Like, we're doing our job, you do yours, and stay safe, and we're going to get through this because obviously most people are. But they didn't do that. They fear-mongered everybody for years, made it seem like it was the apocalypse. And now that it's politically convenient because they're in power, their political party's in control, and it's looking, grim for their political prospects, because after telling people that they had this great solution for a year, we're hitting record high cases. Now they're saying what myself, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, all these other people, I mean, millions of people have been trying to scream for years. How many of these people had 2, 3, 4 comorbidities? Let's listen to CDC director say it while I stand in the back and act shocked.
Illness. Given that, is it time to start rethinking how we're living with this virus, that it's potentially here to stay?
The overwhelming number of deaths, over 75%, occurred in people who had at least 4 comorbidities. So really, these are people who were unwell to begin with. And yes, really encouraging news in the context of Omicron. This means not only...
Do you know how many of the 800...
All right, sorry, I got a show to do. Unbelievable. She says it as if it's like, she's like, I mean, they were going to be there anyway. It's not a big deal. Like, they were already sick. It's like, weren't we called like far right Looney Tune conspiracy theorists for saying that a year ago? We're like, how many of these people are just like obese and have cancer and other sort of things? Like, not that that's okay or good. It's like, definitely get these people help. It doesn't matter. We want to save everybody we can. But like, how much of this is like, oh my God, this is devastating these people, or they have 4 comorbidities? Did she say 75%? I don't even want to do this show. I just want to walk. I got to go, guys. Let's never mind. It's just like, what's the point anymore? But here's another thing before I play another clip of Rochelle Walensky talking. I got my first warning, or I've gotten other warnings before, but I'm actually a pretty good complainer. I have Karen energy. I have a lot of white European Caucasian, genetics, so I can Karen out pretty hard, Let me speak to the manager. Like, I could be a hip hop artist. People are like, damn, that guy could flow. But like, once somebody does me wrong, I turn into a Karen real quick. I'm like, excuse me, can I speak to the manager? I'm on Twitter just hassling them until they give me my warning, strike away. But anyway, I'm just going to hold this up because I don't even know if I could read this. This is what I got a strike for pretty much saying on YouTube. Can you read that? Here, I'm going to hold it up for YouTube. You can read that real quick with that. This is ABC News, folks. I don't write for ABC. Trust me. They don't like me. Now let's look over here. You can look up. I'll just read it now. I'm afraid to do this because I might get my second strike on YouTube. This is ABC News a couple of days ago saying evidence emerging that cloth masks are not as effective as surgical masks against COVID. ABC News is now saying this 2 years. Like, maybe we could have used that data, this emerging shocking data 2 years ago. I live in California and the governor's trying to put back a mask mandate. And you go to like a place where they're actually enforcing it or people are listening. Nobody's wearing N95 masks. I think I maybe saw 1 out of a sea of 100 people wearing a cloth mask, but I'm not going to talk about it. Apparently, they could just tell you whatever, say whatever, and then like 3 years later be like, evidence is emerging out of the blue. It's like, is it though? Maybe. Let's listen to her again on Fox. I can't believe she did a Fox interview. Very brave of her.
36,000 deaths in the U.S. linked to COVID are from COVID, or how many are with COVID, but they had other comorbidities? Do you have that breakdown?
Yes, of course. With Omicron, we're following that very carefully. Our death registry, of course, takes a few weeks to collect. And of course, Omicron has just been with us for a few weeks, but those data will be forthcoming.
All right, I'm gonna play that in a second, but it's like they're like, "Do you have this data of how many?" No, Omicron just snuck up on us. Like, we'll get that data soon. Also, for Delta and these other situations, you could have also told people this years ago. You could have said, "This is how many people are dying with COVID. This is how many people are dying just of COVID, and this is how many people have 4 comorbidities." That would have been probably helpful through the pandemic, but these people don't care. Speaking of not caring, real quick, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this because we live in like a psychotic hospital medical tyranny country where now like we're going to fight China, said Trump. And then we just like magically turned into communist China. It's like, oh, we're taking on China. And then like he gets out of office and I look around, it's like, I don't know. It seems like we kind of live there now. We got like digital scan systems, we can't leave the house. Like somehow we went from fighting the communist Chinese party to literally becoming them, but whatever. Nobody noticed that part. Anyway, I don't know if I could say this, but I don't really care. So I'm going to just hold this up. This is Reuters real quick. Y'all could read this. I'm going to hold it up for YouTube and Facebook. I'm sorry. I got more people on Facebook. We got almost 4,000 people. So I'm going to just do it. This is Reuters. They did 3 different articles. Ready? I'm going to hold that up. It says vaccine not linked to menstruation changes. That was in November 15th. It says Reuters, this was December 21st, 2021. No link found between menstrual changes and COVID vaccines. And they also did it in August of 2021. No link found so far between menstrual disorders and COVID. So this is fact checker Reuters. They were telling everybody for months, there is no link between menstruation changes and COVID shot. You got it right here. 3 different Reuters articles. They said it for months. They censored many people on social media for saying it. And then all of a sudden today, here's mainstream articles. I printed them all out for y'all. Sorry, I got to favor Facebook. They got almost 4,000 people. Y'all ready? Can you guys see this? Sorry, I know. Let's see. Where are we? Okay. It's a little small. Sorry. People are like New York Times, NPR, everything. New York Times, NPR, National Institute of Health, right from the government website, Jerusalem Post, The Hill, and CNN. They're all reporting that COVID vaccination may cause temporary slight change to menstrual cycle. I'm going to read every headline aloud. Keep in mind, Reuters just a few months ago said, the vaccines are not linked to menstrual changes. And if you dare say that on social media, you might get deleted because Reuters fact checked you. Okay, Reuters knows what they're talking about. Let's read every headline. I'm going to read them all. New York Times, 2 days ago, women's periods may be late after coronavirus vaccination study suggests. Well, that's the opposite of what Reuters said. They said that it's not happening, but okay. NPR said COVID vaccines can cause minor menstrual cycle changes, researchers find. National Institute of Health, that's our government, said COVID-19 vaccination associated with small temporary increase in menstrual cycle length suggests NIH study funded study. Jerusalem Post. COVID-19 vaccine lengthens menstrual cycle, no sign of danger. The Hill study, COVID-19 vaccine may cause temporary slight change of menstrual cycles. CNN study links COVID-19 vaccination to small increase in menstrual cycle length, but experts say it's no cause of concern. So they want you to know that it is no cause of concern. The liars at Reuters are probably going to change their fact check in a few days and be like, well, we said there was no evidence available, but now there is evidence and it's not a big deal. They always straw man. They're like, see, it only lasts for a day and most people on average, it's not a big deal. It's like the big deal is not the fact that we found this information. The big deal is you literally said vaccines not linked to menstrual changes while people, a bunch of women, mostly, if not all, were trying to report that they were seeing this happen to themselves, their friends. They were noticing a change. People were reporting it on social media. Candace Owens talked about it months ago strongly. And everybody was like, oh my God, don't talk about that. It's not happening. There's no link. We'll fact check you. We don't have that study right now. It's all just talk. And now they have it. This is what social media is supposed to be. It's supposed to be communication where people talk and, we come to a conclusion together, communicating on a global scale. But no, Reuters had it all under control. So I wonder if they're going to fix that fact check or if they're just going to leave that fact check and just act like it's true. One of these people has to be lying. Either Reuters is wrong or Reuters was messing up or, New York Times. You guys figure it out because you guys are all buddies. Speaking of Reuters, somebody tweeted something to me, and I was like, could that be true? They were like, dude, you got to check out the former CEO of Reuters. He's on the Pfizer board. And I was like, nah, could it be? So apparently this is just, I got some information here. Thomas Reuters was created by Thomson Corporation. Reuters is now owned by Thomson Reuters, and the Thomson Corporation purchased the British company Reuters Group in 2008. So that happened. And then, hold on one second. I got some other papers over here by mistake. I forgot to bring them over here. So my guy, I think his name is James C. Smith. James C. Smith is the former CEO and COO of Thomson Reuters. He worked at Reuters and he was the COO and then the CEO. I guess he has now stepped down. But now he is a board member on the Atlantic Council for Pfizer and the World Economic Forum for Partnering Against Corruption Initiative. So in just a few years, going from the CEO of Reuters to a board member on Pfizer, where if you search his name, James C. Smith, you can just see him right on the Pfizer website. They're pretty damn proud of it. So isn't that interesting? You have a fact-checking, news mainstream conglomerate organization who has like an open revolving door from, oh, you're out here? Now you're in at Pfizer. It seems to be like quite the trend, quite the trend. Speaking of quite the trend, as far as Bill Gates, my buddy William Gates here, he, the media loves this guy. And, I love the media. So let's listen to my guy. I actually like listening to Bill Gates speak. People might be confused by that. I'm not a fan of him. We have very different politics and a very, very different, I think, idea of what the world should look like. I don't agree with Bill Gates on a lot of stuff. But one thing I do appreciate about him is that he kind of just says stuff in like mainstream news sources. If you listen to like Donald Trump, he doesn't say anything. He's just like, I saved the world. COVID's I saved the planet. And it's like, okay, sure. Yeah, you're a special guy. You're Superman. You're such a great guy, Trump. You're mRNA Trumpy Pumpy saved the world. Yeah, you're like the new Buzz Aldrin. You're Neil Armstrong, dude. You landed on the moon with Operation Warp Speed. Whatever. It's like Trump doesn't say anything. Bill Gates, although I kind of like Trump better than Bill Gates kind of says stuff. Here's him admitting, in order to find out, and once again, this is not my words, this is William Gates. In order to find out the long-term effects of the COVID vaccine, you have to just wait 2 years because there are no long-term studies on them. I didn't say this. Bill Gates says it. Take a listen.
Is that it may be that there needs to be some compromise in some of the safety measures.
This is, by the way, this is a couple years ago. This is in 2020, I believe.
Would normally be expected to create a vaccine because time is so crucial.
Well, of course, if you want to wait and see if a side effect shows up 2 years later, that takes 2 years. So whenever you're acting quickly, like during the HIV crisis.
All right, I'm going to run that back just so people can hear it. People think I like make stuff up or like it's like I just listen to these people. Seriously, like listen to the experts, listen to the trusted. Okay, I'm listening. He says, how do you, let's listen back.
The sound of them from what you're saying is that it may be that there needs to be some compromise in some of the safety measures that would normally be expected to create a vaccine because time is so crucial.
Well, of course, if you want to wait and see if a side effect shows up 2 years later, that takes 2 years. So whenever you're acting quickly, like during the HIV crisis, they created a quick way of getting drug approval. There is a trade-off there. In that case, it worked super, super well. And here, we will, I think, be able to get some safety indications, but this is a public good. And so, those trade-offs, the government's working on a cooperative basis will be involved in the decision to say, hey, the regulator says go ahead, even though you haven't taken the normal time period.
So it's not a conspiracy theory that in order to wait to see the long-term effects, you just got to wait 2 years. Bill Gates says it. He says, yeah, we've made some sacrifices to get this out to the public. So when they try to gaslight you into acting like that's not a possibility, and Reuters tries to tell you what's going on 3 months before it's mainstream news, the exact opposite is true of what they said. it's nonstop gaslighting. They say, well, no, it's not possible for women to have menstrual changes. It doesn't exist. Fact check, you're wrong. It's a conspiracy theory. It's horrible. And then 4 months later, they say, well, actually, it's happening, but it's safe. It's actually better. Like, you got mainstream media sources. If you read all the sources, they're like, it's actually great. It's a great thing. It's a great thing to have your menstruation change. This is good. This is nothing to worry. It's just for a day on average. It's not a big deal. This is actually good. One expert says it's great. It's insane. It's literally like they tell you it's not happening, then they admit it's happening, but they just assure you that it's totally fine. If it's totally fine, I don't disagree with you, but why not tell people that originally, or at least leave the door open for science to evolve and come out? It's like they act like they have it all figured out, and the gaslighting is just nuts. I want to read you, before we listen to Bill Gates again, I want to read you this new AP fact check. It seriously reads as if it's The Onion or Babylon Bee. I can't believe this is real. They did an article on Robert Malone, who's going viral, the mRNA innovator who, has been deleted off of Twitter. It says, AP fact check: mass formation psychosis, an unfounded theory spreading online, suggests millions of people have been hypnotized into believing mainstream ideas to combat COVID-19. Psychology experts say the concept is not supported by evidence. Get the facts at AP. This roughly translates to, there's a big podcast that's bigger than our news stations telling you that we're brainwashing you. Here's why we're not brainwashing you. We're going to tell you why we're not brainwashing you. Read our articles so we can explain why we're not brainwashing you. We have psychology experts on our side to explain exactly how there is no such thing as mainstream media hypnotizing psychosis over COVID-19. It's all totally great. It's like, imagine writing that article. Imagine being the person that's like, an online conspiracy theory suggests that millions of people have been hypnotized by mainstream ideas. Psychology experts say that this is not supported by evidence. Well, you also said that women's menstruation changes were not supported by any evidence or links, and now they are. So we'll see what happens with that hypothesis as well, because not everything lasts forever. Speaking of things that don't last forever, here's Bill Gates in 2020 explaining that the world would not go back to normal until we got a vaccine. We have a vaccine. The world is not normal. Australia is going insane. They're detaining healthy tennis players because they didn't get an mRNA injection. You have mask mandates in California. You have vaccine passports in multiple cities across the country. You have countries still on lockdown, Canada going back down into lockdown. You have human rights abuses where Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford is now taking away gyms and athletic facilities from people that are not now able to exercise as easy as possible. Like, this is also unhealthy. But let's listen to him explain how we're going to go back to normal in 2020. He's like, once we get a vaccine, we'll go back to normal.
The vaccine. It is fair to say things won't go back to truly normal until we have a vaccine that we've gotten out to basically the entire world. And so, the best people at the foundation who are all about high volume vaccines.
So this was him. If you guys watched me in 2020, I had this like clip. I think I had a video in April or May of 2020. I said, are we ever going back to normal? And I put together a whole document, little mini doc thing where I'm like, it doesn't, just listen to Fauci, listen to Bill Gates. It doesn't sound like we're going back to normal for a long time. Like, I'm listening to all this stuff they're saying. He's like, we can't really truly go back to normal until we, get a vaccine out to the entire planet, basically. And it's like, remember when they said 15 days to slow the spread? It's now 2 years. And you have people trying to kick people out of grocery stores for not having a vaccine passport or a mask on. It's been 2 years, and he predicted that we'd go back to normal when we got a vaccine. It's available. It's like the carrot and the string never ends. I try to use that analogy. It's like you put the carrot and then you're like trying to chase it, but somebody's on your back with a fishing pole with a carrot in front of your face, and you keep chasing it, but it's actually never moving. Or Lucy with the football is a good analogy. Charlie Brown always thinks he's going to kick the football, and Lucy always moves it. She moves it, but Charlie Brown's a nice guy, and he's just like, no, maybe this time I'll kick the football, and he never kicks the football. That's what it has been the entire pandemic, from if 15 days to slow the spread, and now it's 30 days. Now we have to extend it. Gavin Newsom did a mask mandate for a month. Of course, he extended it because his word means nothing when he says a month. now if everybody gets the vaccine, you know, you can go back to normal. You get to take off your mask. Which one of their promises or predictions have actually come true? Like, are there very many things that they said that are real? Now let's fast forward real quick and listen to Bill Gates over the last couple months. He basically, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. You could just listen to him. He was talking about how, yeah, we got a vaccine, but we did not get a vaccine that prevented transmission. So maybe we should get a new one. Listen to what he says. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but listen.
Economic damage, the deaths, it's been completely horrific. And I would expect that will lead the R&D budgets to be focused on things we didn't have today. You know, we didn't have vaccines that block transmission. We got vaccines that help you with your health, but they only slightly reduce the transmissions. We need a new way of doing the vaccine.
We need a new way of doing the vaccine, he said. I didn't say that. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying he's like, we should just do a whole new way so we could try to block the transmission. And it's like, are we in a never-ending experiment where these idiots just try their best? They say, you know, CDC director said, you know, these vaccines will stop and block transmission. She's on record saying that the data said that. That ended up not being true. Let's just give up our entire life forever. I mean, let's just let these people funnel billions upon trillions of dollars in circle, print out money, you know, give Pfizer all this money and power, mandate everything. Let's just cover up our breathing holes for 10 years. And then 2 years into it, they're like, you know, those cloth masks you've been forced to wear, well, you know, they're not as effective as we once thought the emerging data showed. It's like, are people this crazy? I don't know. I had a little episode the other day. You know, I walked into a grocery store and the lady says to me, "Excuse me, sir, can you?" And I'm like, "Stop." And then she's like, I'm not even going to say what happened, but I'm like, I just started talking to the whole supermarket. I'm like, wake up, folks. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years. I literally had like a whole break. Like I was chilling because this is just my life. But I'm like, you're not going to kick me out and not allow me to buy groceries in a store that I've been to 20 times over the past month because you're a psychopath. You're the evil people in World War II. This has been 2 years. You're abusing elderly people. You're abusing children. You won't leave people the hell alone. You don't even know the psychological and mental damage that you're causing. I went so ham, the store manager came up and was like, yo, if you stand outside, I'll give you all your groceries for free and I'll bring them outside. I told him, I don't want free groceries. I'm a customer. I'm going to pay for them. So I paid for them. But I'm like, you guys got to get it's embarrassing. I'm looking at the lady. I'm like, you should be ashamed of yourself, woman. You know, I'm going off. People are looking at me. Everybody's thanking me when I'm outside the supermarket. They're like, thank you so much. I'm tired of this. Like, this is insane. Elderly people, elderly men. Like, stop abusing your elder, you full-blown psychopaths. I'm not the one to play with. I'm not a slave. I'm not a lab rat. I'm not an abuse show animal. I work out. I exercise. I get sunlight. I try to eat right. I'm a happy person. Smiling and being a positive person impacts your health. There's studies about mindset and stress and fear. This is all documented real science that you guys don't give a crap about. I'm not the one, okay? I'm not the one to be playing with on this stuff. I'm not a slave, okay? Y'all are creating a sicko world, and people got to really wake up to this stuff because it's so obvious. And all this stuff that we said months ago, years ago, is starting to come out. Speaking of stuff that we said years ago, I want to read a tweet. I just found it resurfaced because some kid said, you blocked me. Why'd you block me on Twitter? And I went and like traced it. And it was because he was annoying me over this old tweet. And I was like, oh, what a good tweet. This is my tweet. I said this on April 14th of 2020. I want you to keep in mind, I read that Operation Warp Speed, the whole vaccine program that Trump rolled out with Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca. I don't know that Pfizer got Operation Warp Speed money. I think they just got it purchased with taxpayer money, their vaccines. But anyway, I said this 15 or 14 days before any news source even reported on Operation Warp Speed and around a month before Operation Warp Speed rolled out. So there was no word Operation Warp Speed. I said this on April 14, 2020. I said, Trump realizes that they're going to push mandatory vaccines or certificates to go places, right? I hear him talking all this stuff, Mr. Lockdown, Mr. I'm getting along with Gavin Newsom. We need to give Pfizer, we need to give Big Pharma our money. And I said this about a month before Operation Warp Speed. I'm like, Trump realizes they're going to push mandatory vaccines or certificates to go places, right? And people act like, what was he supposed to do? Nobody knew. I knew. We knew. We were talking about this in 2019. It was obvious. You know, you give them 15 steps, they're going to take the 16th step. You can't do part A, part B, part C, part D, part E, part F, and then you do all that stuff, and then you're like, but he's against G, though. He says he's against G. He's against mandates. It's like, it doesn't matter, because he just rolled out the red carpet for big Pharma and Fauci, and then he acts like he's going to do something while he's selling it as a miracle cure. You know, we're cutting through the narrative, folks, but I just wanted to show you. I've been telling people this. It's not a new thing. I've been trying to tell people this for over a year and a half now, but it's all good. God bless you. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to hang out and answer some questions and stuff for a little bit. I want to hear your input as well. That's the story of the day. Hopefully you appreciated it. Hopefully people can see the video footage of them saying, CDC director, now all of a sudden she wants to say that around 75% of the people dying have 4 comorbidities. You know, where was this energy in 2020 and 2021? You could have done the same thing with Delta or the original variant or whatever you want to do. You could have done the same breakdown of data. They chose not to. They chose to do a liberal approach to it, as Dr. Burke said, of saying anybody who dies with COVID is dying from COVID in the books. And they did their most to ramp up the fear and ramp up all this stuff. But now it's not politically convenient to do that because they're in power. And now all of a sudden, they're saying what we said a year ago. It's so obvious, but whatever. Before I answer questions, real quick, in the description on YouTube, pinned to the top of Facebook, and in the title is the Amazon link and the iTunes link. I don't ask for a lot, but I do appreciate people spending 99 cents on both. Even if you got one, you could get the second, but you don't have to. It's less than $2, $1.98, and you can help us hit the Billboard charts. Right now, we're number 1 on the hip hop charts on Amazon. We're number 2 on the hip hop charts of iTunes. We're number 5 or 6 or 7 on all genres in Amazon bestsellers for music. And we're number 25, I believe, on iTunes chart for all genres. At this pace, if we could hold it, we're going to hit probably 1 or 2 Billboard charts. They have a digital sales chart for hip hop and a digital sales chart for every song on the planet that week. We can potentially hit top 25 of all genres, and we could really hit number 1. Number 2 is cool, but you know, I mean, a number 2 Billboard plaque would be cool, but I kind of feel like Ricky Bobby. I feel like if you're not first, you're last. If you ever seen Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell, he says, if you're not first, you're last. I kind of feel that way. I want a second place, but really I want a first place. So, you know, I'm not trying to be greedy. God is great and everything happens for a reason. But if y'all could go smash that 99-cent purchase on Amazon and iTunes, me and Bryson Gray would appreciate it. To, you know, especially Bryson and myself, you don't know how many times they told us, you know, Bryson's a Christian artist who's very unapologetic. Don't say that. That's hate speech. You shouldn't say that. That's not popular. You should sign with our label. You shouldn't rap about that. You shouldn't talk about politics. We've been told this a million times, and we stuck true to our guns. We never caved. We never gave in. We never joined their little satanic, you know, thing. And I'm not saying everybody's satanic in the music industry. There's a lot of great people, but there are like literal rappers that are like demons. They're like, yeah, 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 I work for the devil. Yeah, yeah, take a pill, Xanax. And you're like, bro, at a certain point, it is kind of satanic. You know, like you're literally like praising the devil and like eating pills. So we made sure we did a song that was way more honest and way more raw. We're number 2 on the hip hop charts. I would love to hit number 1. Thank you to everybody spending 99 cents on Amazon and iTunes. I think we could go number 1 with your help. Thank you. You're a part of the win. All right, let's read some comments. Thank you guys. And then after Friday, I'll stop talking about this. I don't want to be annoying. All right, let's read some superstar chats on Facebook. We love our Facebook people here. Rick, thank you for the big chat. Deborah, thank you so much. Abigail, thank you so much. Derek, thank you so much. Charles Smith, thank you. Lenny Fu, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Hugovich, thank you. That's an epic name, Hugovic. That's baller. Good job to your parents for naming you that. Victoria, God bless. Will, thank you. Jorge, appreciate you. Nay, well, thank you. Teddy said, as above, so below. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Masa. Thank you, JM. Thank you, Faye. Ahmad Hassan Poston. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for the for all those stars. Appreciate it. Unnecessary, but appreciate it. You don't have to, but listen, I'll take it. Okay, it's a recession out there. Every time I make money, they take it from me via the inflation. It's kind of, I don't know if ironic's the right word because it's probably not, but like my whole life, I always thought, and I'm not trying to feel bad for myself because my life is good and everything happens for a reason, but like I used to not go on vacation. When I was in my 20s, people are going to Cancun, people are going to Florida. Everybody's like spring break, spring break. I always was a hustler. I was always like, I can't go on. I don't want to go to Cancun because I'm a hip hop artist. I should be on tour. And if I'm not on tour, I'm not working hard enough. I gave up vacations my whole life. I never went to Europe. I've never been to Asia. I've never been to South America. I'm not really well traveled. I busted my ass. And then as soon as I make it, I make enough money to chill and like be stable and work by myself. They close the whole planet down with a freaking, authoritarian medical tyranny health state. I'm like, I just got here. I'm like, damn, I just went on I went on some cruises. I'm chilling. I'm about to live the lifestyle and they shut the whole world down. I'm like, come on, folks. I'm trying to go on another cruise. I want to go to Europe. I worked my ass off to get here. And then as soon as I get here, they shut the whole freaking planet down. But on that note, I don't feel bad for myself. I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for like the 10-year-olds, the 12-year-olds. I feel bad for people in college that don't know what college is like. When I went to college, there was no mask mandate. I wasn't treated like an animal and a prisoner. This is terrible. So I guess I'm grateful that I got college in and a few good years, before they ruin the whole world. It would suck to go to, do you have your vaccine passport? Do you have your mask? It's like, what's the point? Like what, never mind. But someone said you might not be well-traveled, but you're well-informed. You can't have it all. It's all good. Everything happens for a reason. I have faith. We'll open up the world again. We'll get back to freedom, but whatever. I'm glad I live in America. If I had to be stuck anywhere, it would be in this country with the garbage food that they feed us. It's okay. I'm proud to be an American where they put dough conditioner in our food that they don't put in other countries because the government made it illegal, but they keep feeding us this trash. But it's okay because at least we got the first two amendments. God bless America. My favorite place to be trapped. I'd rather be here than anywhere else. Jokes aside, I love this country. We have our flaws, but so does everybody else. At least we got the Constitution. It kind of somewhat works. It's whatever. I could go to Whole Foods or something if I really want good food, so I don't need to cry about it. There's options, If you look for it, you can find it. It's not a bad thing that they put. I mean, it's not great, but there's all this bad stuff in our food, but at least we're getting fed. Back in the day, it's like people weren't fat because you couldn't be fat because it was like there was, people were dying of starvation. So it shows how blessed of a country are when our problems are like, they're feeding us bad food. It's like, then stop eating it. You're like, I can't. Taco Bell tastes too good. I'm like, I feel you. It's not that hard. I like them. I joke about it, but it's a decent problem to have because it's like at any point you could just like diet and exercise a little better. And things are cheap too. People are like, oh, I can't afford organic food. If you buy like 10 organic bananas, it costs like $1.50. It's cheaper than other, every morning for breakfast, I make like a banana smoothie. It's cheap. And if you really, I don't suggest this. I'm not trying to tell anybody, but a lot of healthy people fast. It's free to fast. You can just drink water for 24 hours. I don't want people to do that because you got to know your body, et cetera. But, it's expensive to diet. It's like just literally stop eating for 24 hours. Just stop eating. You'll save however much money it costs for a whole day of eating if you fast, once every few weeks or whatever. But this is not financial advice. This is not health advice. I'm just saying. Someone said, I know exactly how you feel. I busted my ass with business for years. Yeah, but we'll get it back. I take this as an opportunity. I take it as a challenge. I'm not someone who just falls over. So I look at this like it's a challenge. Like we're gonna get this country on the right path again. We got good energy here. We got good people. We got good spirit. There's a foundation of a revolutionary spirit in the soil out here. We'll bring it back. It's all good. Someone said meat is expensive and chicken stock is low. It's true. The meat prices are super high. Inflation is real, folks. Inflation's real. Everything they did to our country, 2020, 2021. This is the part that's a little frustrating. I say it a lot, but it's like it was a bipartisan bamboozle. The Democrats are worse. The Democrats take it further. the Democrats are always pushing the boundaries harder, but the Republicans were in on it too. So the Republicans, they're in on the lockdown, they're in on the money printing, they're in on the communism and socialism, all this stuff. They're in on the Operation Warp Speed, which is just funneling money, power, and control to big pharma. They're in on the emergency orders. They're in on every part of 2020. They literally put like no opposition at all. And then Biden wins the election, or he gets in the office, whatever you want to say. And then now all of a sudden the Republicans act like they didn't do this too. And then Democrats take it even further. They print more money. And Republicans are like, man, if we were in power, we wouldn't do that. You were in power in 2020 and you did do it. And you put up no resistance. Thomas Massey put up resistance. Shout out Thomas Massey. He follows me on Gab and Twitter. Obviously has good taste. He was the only one. He said, dude, I'm not signing the CARES Act. I'm not signing off on this. And they're like, get out of our Republican Party if you're not in on it. It's like, what? So that's the frustrating part about politics. Like, the Democrats are obviously the worst, but it's like Republicans definitely didn't do anything, at least like impressive, but whatever. I'll still vote for those losers. Jeffrey Guerra said, hey, this is Jeffrey again. My girlfriend wanted to apologize for what she said. She said she kept spreading the truth about the lies they kept spreading. Bro, you just confused me. I'll read that again because I don't know what the heck. Hey, this is Jeffrey again. My girlfriend wanted to apologize for what she said. She said, keep spreading the truth about the lies they're spreading. Oh, she said, keep spreading the truth. Hey, God bless you, Jeffrey. I don't know who your girlfriend is. I don't know what she said, but maybe she said something and I responded. I don't know, but God bless you and God bless your girlfriend. I promise you, I've already forgot about it. Maybe I blocked her or something. I don't know. There's constant backlash on these live streams. So I'm like, Deborah from, Mississippi's yelling at me. We got, Jonathan from Quebec. We got random people all over the world that get upset, and I just kind of joke back and forth. But I don't know what happened. I apologize. I'm not upset. Tell her she's awesome, and you guys are awesome. And I hope you guys have a great relationship this year. Don't worry about it. It's all gravy. People get real emotional when I say certain things. They're like I heard somebody earlier. They're like, the way you talk about Trump's disgusting, and it's like, listen to what I'm saying outside of the emotion of it. I'm saying I like Trump more than Bill Gates for obvious reasons. However, when Bill Gates talks about the vaccine, although he's one of the biggest vaccine salesmen on the planet and funders, Bill Gates still talks about indemnification. Bill Gates talks about long-term side effects. He actually talks about more of this stuff, believe it or not. Trump is like a pull string doll that's like a fifth grader. I'm sorry. I didn't ask him to be this dumb. He was never this dumb his whole career. Now all of a sudden he's like, I saved the world from the Spanish flu. It's the greatest thing ever. I'm the father of the vaccines. He provides no value whatsoever. It's pretty sad that Bill Gates is somehow more transparent about vaccines than Donald Trump. That's not a good thing because Bill Gates is not really, that transparent about it. But he at least has real conversations where Trump, he says the same 5 things on loop. He literally sounds like a dummy. Sorry if that hurts your feelings, but it's just true. And it's funny if I do my Trump impression. Just like my Bernie Sanders impression is funny too. The billionaires and the millionaires. The only way to fight the corrupt government is to give all your money to the government. The only way to fight Hillary Clinton is to vote for her. The only way to fight the radical right is to vote for the radical left. And they're like, all right, dude, we get it. You don't have a job. I've always loved old people. I love elderly people, but politics is making me feel a different way. And I don't want to take it out on my elders because I love my elders. I love my elders more than I love everybody else. It's they're old, they're wise. But you got Bernie Sanders, oldie tax stealer. You got Joe Poopy Pants Biden, who just literally is clearly not mentally all there because he's almost 80. And then you have Donald Trump, who's 78 now. And compared to, I was watching old Trump clips. He was that dude. Trump was that dude for so long. I wasn't fooled. He really was that guy. He was being that guy. And now you listen to him. He went from, if you listen to Trump in 2018, 2016, 2019, Trump had the energy of the most alpha man on the planet. Trump was like, my nuts are on the table. Excuse my language. My nuts are on the table. I'm that dude. This is what I think. And now you listen to Trump in an interview and he sounds like a castrated dog. He's got the energy of a dog with his tail between his legs. And he's like, I'm a vaccine man. He don't even sound the same. Did he sell us out or is he getting old? I don't know, but I don't want to take it out on my elders, but it's like Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden. Did anybody see Nancy Pelosi? Her eyebrows were up to here. There's like a new video of her and she's like, excuse me, January 6th is every day now because that's the only thing we can talk about for people to vote for us and give us money. So it's almost like their policies are January 6th just extended. And we're like, Nancy Pelosi, put down the whiskey. What did you guys see her eyebrows? I'm not trying to be mean because listen, I got thick eyebrows. People used to make fun of my eyebrows and say, oh my God, you got a unibrow, you got eyebrow. But like her eyebrows are like running off her face. Her eyebrows are trying to go back to the moon. Nobody's gone since 1969 or 1970s, you know? Last time they went back there with man missions. So Nancy Pelosi's eyes are trying to jump off her head and hop in a Bezos space rocket to the moon because they can't figure out the telemetry data that they say they deleted or lost. And, you know, they can't figure out the technology they had when our computers were like as powerful as calculators. But, you know, I get it. I respect her eyebrows for trying to go back to the moon. But at a certain point, like, why are these people running our freaking country? I don't know anybody that's as dumb as Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, you know, Bernie Sanders, and to be honest and to be fair, Donald Trump now, not prime Donald Trump, but vaccine salesman. I don't know anybody that like in my own life that's as dumb as these politicians, like or like annoying and fake. Everybody I talk to liberals, I talk to progressives, they make somewhat sense. I don't know people that act this way. Like, how did they get there? How is Nancy Pelosi running our country? I've never met anybody like her, and I hope I never do. Like, could you imagine being at a play? Like, you're at like a Broadway play before the vaccine passports, and you're just like, man, I'm trying to watch Rent. And she's like, excuse me, can you please calm down? I'm trying to watch the show. And you're like, who is this lady? Like, if she even crossed my path in the real world, I'd be like, ew, get out of my way, lady. Like, excuse me, can you pass the popcorn? Be quiet, please. It's my favorite show. And it's like, it didn't start yet, lady. Calm down. It's not all about you. Like, I couldn't even imagine seeing Nancy Pelosi at like a New York play, let alone letting this wretched woman run the freaking country. She's like, excuse me, dude, she's like, where did they find these people? I don't want to take it out on all elderly people because all elderly people don't act like this. But like, I'm tired of getting our country run by like 70 to 80-year-old psychopaths. Like, what? Can't we like pass it on? Like the CEO steps down and somebody younger takes over? Not AOC, but somebody else young. I don't know. It's not everybody's fault. I'm sorry. It's like when boomers make fun of millennials. They're like, you damn millennials, you don't even know what it's like to be us. And you're like, you raised us. I don't know. What do you mean? We didn't raise ourselves. You taught us. Like, you guys are spoiled. You shouldn't have gave us stuff. They're like, I know, but that Power Ranger set, you really wanted it. I'm like, all right, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad you gave it to me. But, you know, they're like, these damn hipster millennials, they don't know what it's like to go to war. And you're like, literally, no, we don't. I've been playing Pokemon and Animal Crossing on my cell phone. I have no idea what you're talking about. They're like, do you even remember Vietnam? I'm like, is that one of the new Pokemon? Or I didn't raise myself. Sorry, you gave me the game. You give me a Game Boy, I'm gonna play that thing. You say put it out at night, I might sneak it under the covers with my new lamp, with my new light, and play it at night. I might have to. I'm sorry, it's too tempting. I bit the apple. You know, they're like, put it away. I'm like, but I'm almost in the cave. I'm almost at the 3rd level. What do you mean put it away? I'm almost at the 5th gym. I got 4 badges. How am I going to go to sleep with 4 badges on? I need the 5th one. It's not my fault. We're all flawed. You know, we all make mistakes. You shouldn't have gave me that game. I didn't buy it myself. I didn't even know what money was until I was 17 years old. I had nothing. I didn't even know how you got it. You just took me to Toys R Us and it was like, here. And I thought Toys R Us was like heaven. You're like, I'm in Toys R Us. There's toys everywhere. It's like when my mom took me there, it wasn't all the time. It was rare, but like, it was like, pick out your favorite game. I'm like, are you serious? She's like, go ahead. I'm like, it's the greatest place in the world. Whose fault is that? Like, you can get Super Smash Bros. I'm like, I can? Take me to Toys R Us. I'm like, ugh. I feel like I just take me to 7-Eleven for a Slurpee. Man, it's not my fault. Someone said millennials blaming C generation while they take the blank to index their consent. Everybody blames everybody. You got every race blames another race. Every religion blames another religion. Every country blames another country, unless, I mean, some countries blame their own country. Every generation blames another generation. I feel like it's definitely all our faults. Like it's, but if I had to pick somebody's fault, no, I'm just kidding. But, everybody's got an opinion of who blew it more. But at the end of the day, if you're a boomer or a zoomer, a lot of zoomers are now mad at boomers. A lot of boomers are mad at zoomers, even though they raised them. I would say you have less of a right to be mad. You raised us. But anyway, in general, it's like, okay, we got to come together and be like, we're here. We're here now. Okay. You screwed up a little. You screwed up a little. Now what are we going to do about it? We have to have like a plan to success, not just be like those damn zoomers and their TikTok dances. I don't get it. You got like kids dancing in college and stuff. Like, what are they doing? I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? I don't know. But we got to figure out what we're doing, or else we're just going to blame each other all the time. DC Capital said base boomers over normie boomers. That's my next track hopefully my next track. I don't know. I have a few in the works, but that one will probably be done. Base boomers remix, DC Capital, Anomaly, Patriot J. It's a banger. Someone said Anomaly stole my paper mache Trump sculpture. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to lie, though. I told y'all I had Trump ice cubes, right? I have like a Trump mold that makes like little Trump head ice cubes. I replaced it, not just because of Trump. I'm not that petty, but they were huge ice cubes, and they're really hard to get out of the mold. It like hurts my hands. So I got little ice cubes. I'm replacing the Trump ice cubes. I might just throw them away. Trump, you got 2 weeks left. You got 2 weeks left to stop being Bill Gates Jr., acting like you saved the whole planet. We went back to Mars with your damn mRNA Trumpy pumpies. You got 2 weeks to be yourself again. You got 2 weeks to come back to 2019. You got 2 weeks to make America great again, or I'm throwing out my Trump ice cubes, and I know you care. I know you like attention. I know you like ice cubes being made. So I'm only one person. I'm only one vote. But if he don't come back to life, I'm throwing out my Trump ice cubes. I'm doing it. Somebody tell Don Jr. or Eric. I'm serious. Is there mRNA in my ice cubes? I would say no. Hopefully not. That would be not help. It sounds like a health warning that should be on my ice cubes at that point. Hopefully not. Someone said, I don't blame anyone. I just want to be left the hell alone. I hear you. God bless you. Someone said, make Pharma great again. I feel bad for Pharma, man. Pharma's really struggling out here. I mean, everybody talks about, my mental health is suffering. My physical health is suffering. I can't get on a treadmill. I can't go to my gym because of the lockdown. Everybody's so selfish. Have you ever thought about Big Pharma? Have you ever thought about how Albert Bourla from Pfizer feels? Have you ever thought about how it feels to make tens of billions of dollars on the backs of other people and still blame them? Have you ever thought about how hard it is to create a product with emergency use authorization, push it into the public in under like 2 years, and then get, total immunity shields where you don't even have to pay for side effects, injuries, and deaths from your product as the media protects you and acts like they don't exist? Do you know how hard that is to have a product that you didn't fully pay for yourself? It was subsidized by the government. And then they take that product that they themselves have helped pay for, and then they buy that product and force it into people. So it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to make hundreds of millions of sales because you can't access society without it. I feel horrible for Big Pharma. That must be really tough on their business model. That sounds difficult. Man, could you imagine the poor CEO of Pfizer? Everybody's blaming him with conspiracy theories, and he's just out here trying to really helps the world. Make some moral decisions. I almost said money. Make some moral decisions for your health. It's not about the money. That's why they keep the money that they made and not just give it all away. All right, 1 or 2 more comments. I'm going to keep it under an hour, and then I'm going to keep it moving. Real quick before I leave, once again, thank you. I love everybody, but next week, I'll forget about it. But this week, I love everybody more who bought our song on Amazon and iTunes. I'm going to check real quick where we on the charts because they change all the time. So if we could keep this up till Friday, we're going to hit a Billboard plaque. But if you're not first, you're last. I don't want to be second. Right now, we're number 2 on iTunes on the hip hop charts. We're behind one song. And on all genres, out of every genre in the world, we are number 25 on the most sold on iTunes. It's pretty good. I would love to get to number 1. And then on Amazon, let me see where we're at real quick. Amazon Music bestsellers. Let's see where we're at. Amazon bestsellers, digital music. We are in songs. Oh, we're number 2 right now. Let's go. We're number 2 overall, and we're number 1 in hip hop. So that's good. So we're almost number 1 on both charts on Amazon. That's cool. I appreciate it. The iTunes one would be great to hit number 1, but the real thing is the Billboard. Because if we hit number 1 on Billboard, I could get a fat plaque and, you know what I'm saying, laugh at all of these major label artists who they got $1 million budgets and they got all these features. There's some, you guys don't even realize how, I mean, some people do, but there's rappers that have dropped new albums recently with mainstream features, Chris Brown, Future, some of the biggest artists in the world, and they can't even sell as many records as us. Do they get more streams? Oh, for sure. You know, they got millions of streams, built-in stuff, playlists, you know, radio play. But when it comes to purchasing music and purchasing the song, we're beating every rap song on the planet except for 2. And we're beating every song in the world except for like 24. So thank you guys for buying it on Amazon and iTunes. That's what I'm kind of more focused on. It's not even the money of the sales, but it's the, you know, I want to try to get a Billboard plaque. That would be epic. Thank you guys so much. The links are in the description. Thank you for this video. I'm going to be doing live streams every day. Also, I'm going to get back before I end it. I'm going to get back to my other videos. The internet changes. I don't want to change and I don't want to be like a different person just for like money or attention. But I do notice like on Instagram and TikTok, short version is better now because kids don't have 15 minutes to watch me. So I've been doing a lot of minute clips on Instagram and TikTok, and it's been doing well. I'm not trying to like water down my content, but at the same time, I want to evolve with the times. If you watch my old videos, it doesn't work anymore. Like you can't sell out and you don't want to like switch it up. But at the same time, like the internet evolves. So I don't want to be stale and be doing the same thing for 5 years if it's not working. So it seems like the short videos are working. I haven't done as many long videos. The live streams have been cracking. I started doing videos and stuff. It's pretty fun. I enjoy live streams. My favorite thing to do. I don't like editing videos. It kind of sucks and it hurts my back, but it's worth it at the end to get the information out there. So I enjoy the live streams. But if you guys like those short, like concise videos that are 10, 15 minutes long, I will have at least one in the next week or so. But I've been switching to like short videos on Instagram and then live streams on here. Let me know what you guys think and I'll take it into consideration because I'm not trying to switch it up too much. But at the same time, I do notice that certain things are working and certain things aren't. So appreciate y'all. Have a beautiful day. I'll be back. Thank you to everybody supporting on iTunes and Amazon. We're almost at number 1.